Welcome class 10 students. Today we are going to discuss about a topic in social sciences. Social sciences constitute 4 subjects: economics, history, political science and geography. Among 4 subjects, today we are going to discuss about particular topic in economics. We are discussing in our studio with another student, Mr. Rahul. Mr. Rahul, where you come from?
Hello, I'm Rahul and I'm from New Delhi, Mother International School.
Thank you. So, you know that what is development? Development, we all know that we all wanted to be a developed country. India wanted to be a developed country. Every one of us wanted to develop. And look at this visual. Here, there's one visual where who are they? Migrant laborers. Can you just take out your pen, write a few lines about what would be their dreams, what would be their developmental goals. I'll show you some more visuals also. Look at each one of them. Here, agricultural laborers. Then you have a tailoring staff in a garment factory. And then dry cleaning work. A person is doing dry cleaning work. What would be their developmental goals? And then software programmers in an IT company. If you look at finally the construction industry workers. So if you just write down 2-3 lines about what would be their developmental goals, what do they wanted to achieve in their life. Just write it down, and we are going to discuss in this session and in the forthcoming sessions about their dreams, and are they same or are they different from each other. If you look at before going to the slides, let me also discuss with our student. Rahul, what is your developmental goal?
So, my developmental goal is to earn a good income.
Okay, good. So, Rahul says that earning a better income is his development goal. We are all aspire to have earn a better income. So, if you look at you have already looked at 5 visuals, and for those who are not able to see the visuals, let me describe an activity, and please try to do this activity. Assume that you or your family member is one among them. The visuals that I have shown you: construction workers, software programmers, agricultural laborers, migrant laborers. Right there are your developmental goals, aspirations. You can write about 4-5 lines. This is the first activity. Or you can also, what you can do that suppose the situation becomes normal in your locality, talk to 5 persons of different age groups. They could be males or females in your locality. Ask their 2 development goals. Write it in notebook. Discuss with your teacher when this chapter is taught in your school, either in the online mode or in the regular mode. So, why I ask this question? Because we need to understand the development in terms of the way we perceive our life. So, if you look at all the answers that you have written, or what Rahul has responded, few things would be very clear. One is that we all aspire to earn a regular income and a higher income. That is one of the first developmental goals. We also wanted equal treatment. In many houses, maybe girls may not be treated equally as that of boys. You may be knowing that, maybe Rahul also must be aware that in many houses the girls may be not allowed to go out after 5-6, whereas the boys may be going out playing with their friends and so on. Okay, girls may be asked to come back from the school immediately, whereas the boys may be doing playing with the children, their friends, and they come back. So the girls aspire to be getting equal treatment. Many household works where household activities are done by women or girls, maybe boys are not required to do though. So the girls aspire to have an equal treatment. That would be one of the developmental goals. Freedom. For example, you are studying in class 10. You may be wanting to opt for the subject of your choice. Maybe in class 11 and 12, when you are passing class 10, in 11th, you may be wanting to study economics, history, political science. Maybe your parents wanted to study mathematics, wanted you to study mathematics and science. So you have to see, you wanted to have freedom to choose your own courses. Okay, many people wanting to choose one occupation but land up in some other occupation. So freedom is a major developmental goal. If you look at security, today like in India also we get a lot of issues about security, safety of the girls, safety of the people from marginalized sections, okay, the people working with the low income families. So they all wanted security. As a country also we need to protect our country from external forces. So we also wanted a security for the whole country. That is one of the developmental goals. Many countries invest a lot of money in the defense. It's also because of the security reasons. Quality of life. We want to have a basic facilities. We want to have a regular income. So the quality of life is also another developmental goal everyone aspire to. You want to have a regular health facilities, you want to have a safe drinking water, you want to have a clothing, a better housing. So they all come under the quality of life. If you look at the relationships, for example, we want to have a relationship with your neighbors, relationship within the family also, relationship with the neighbor villages and towns, neighbor countries. So the better relationship is also a major aspect of developmental goals. So the development means it may be different for different people. Okay, so it may be for some people it may be a regular income, a higher income. For some it may be a better security. For some it may be freedom. So development is not same for everybody. For a young people, the nature of development or development goals may be different. For an elderly person, the nature of developmental goal may be different actually. Look at this visual. This visual contains high-rise buildings and slums in Mumbai. And what do you think about the developmental goals of the high-rise buildings there? The person residing in that house may be wanting to pay their EMI on a regular basis, so they wanted to have income so that they can pay their EMI. If you look at the slums of the houses, slums, what would be their developmental goals? They may be wanting to have a better facilities, and they wanted to have a safe drinking water. So you look at this, so you can see that the aspiration of the high-rise building, the aspiration of the slum dwellers, they may not be the same actually. The slum dwellers may not be interested in EMI and so on actually. Okay, so the development means it may be different for different people. Okay, so I just wanted to know, Rahul, and what would be the developmental goals of your village or your locality in which you are living actually?
Okay, so the development goals for my locality would be increasement of safety regarding health and cleanliness all around, availability of water and electricity, healthcare facility to be made more.
Good. So what if you look at the way Rahul is describing, he wanted a safe drinking water, he wanted a housing, health facilities for his village actually. Similarly, students, you must be also having your own aspiration for your local area. Please write about some 5 to 10 lines. What would be the developmental goals of your area? If you look at what I did was that I asked, since the schools are closed these days, I asked 2 students living in Tamil Nadu, studying in class 10. I asked them what would be their developmental goals. They have shown in their document, like they have written letters. I received the letters they wrote in their notebooks. I am just showing here. One student studying in class 10A, his name is Nityan. Nityan wants, you can read yourself what is there in the text actually, and you will come to know that these are all what we already have described actually. They also wanted a developmental facilities in their village. They also wanted a safe drinking water. There's another student, her name is Caroline Teresa Johnny. She is also studying in the same school. The school name is Adiman Public School in Tamil Nadu. She also expressed what are the developmental goals of her village. She wanted a hospital, she wanted a school, and she also wanted employment opportunities for the nurses, school teachers, because she noticed that many graduates who also got trained as teachers in their village are not employed. She wanted schools to be established. So you will see that the developmental goals of Nitya and Caroline are different from each other actually. So you can also write it down, and you can share with your friends, share with your parents, share with your classmate, like a school teacher, when the class opens actually. Development is not only about income, it is not only about quality of life and so on. Development also may be conflicting. development for a one person may not be the compatible with the development of the other person. Look at this visual. This visual is a Narmada river dam, Narmada dam in Gujarat. So the Gujarat government built this Narmada dam, and it is earning now almost like a 500 crore rupees every year from the farmers who collect, who get this, who pay fee for water actually. Okay, and this dam is also benefiting hundreds and thousands of farmers. But if you look at another visual, who are these people actually? These are the tribal people who lives near the banks of the Narmada river, who are wanting the compensation to be paid. When the dam is constructed, it benefits lakhs of farmers and their households, but it also disempower tribal families who are living in the banks of the Narmada river. So development for a one section within the country may not be development for the other section actually. So it means the development need not be all the time compatible with each other. So you also need to understand that development is not same for everybody. It may be different from person to person, the family in which they are living, the kind of education they are getting, the kind of employment they are getting actually. Development is, second point is that development is also conflicting. How it is conflicting? It may be benefiting for a particular section, it may not be benefiting. You may be knowing that in the last 200 years, India also has witnessed many construction of dams, construction of railways, roads and so on. But it is not benefiting all the people. The farmers who are losing their lands and the areas which were like which are benefiting from the farmlands, they will be obviously affected actually. So development sometimes, or sometimes in most cases also, may be conflicting actually. Then you may be interested to know that okay, development is conflicting, but is it necessary to measure it? Yes, it is necessary to measure the development, so that you will come to know that if the benefit is more, you can consider as a essential component, and if the development is not, it is conflicting in a aggressive manner, it can be curtailed. The income is used mainly as the indicator of development. When we say income, the income earned by the people working in different economic activities. In the lower classes, you must be knowing about what is economic activity. People who earn some income or produce something, it may be a good, it may be commodity. If it results in a good or service, it is called economic activity. There are some economic activities which are not part of economic activity. For example, begging, for example, rioting, smuggling, they are not part of the economic activity. Otherwise, all the activities people get engaged in. For example, I am sitting here, this is an economic activity I am doing in the area of education. Okay, many studio people are sitting there, they are also doing, they are also engaged in some economic activity. So all the economic activities results in some kind of goods or services. Okay, so when they earn an income for engaging in that activity, you get the income. Okay, so the income, when we say income, generally in economic sense, it may be a total income, it may be per capita income. Okay, so the term per capita income is the one which is going to be introduced in this chapter. So the total, what is per capita income? Total income divided by the total population. Look at the table that I gave you. These are the 5 families. This table is also available in the NCERT textbook of class 10, chapter 1. There are 2 countries, country A, country B. In each country, 5 people are residing. Okay, so the 5 citizens are residing and they are earning different incomes. Okay, so country A, the incomes are 9,500, 10,500, 9,800, 10,000 and 10,200. In country B, 5 citizens are earning 500, 500, 500, 500 and 48,000 respectively. What is the total income of each country? Can you just calculate and tell me?
Of course. So the total income for country A is 50,000 and it's 50,000 for country B as well.
Oh, both the countries are having total income of 50,000. So what is the average income of country A?
So average income, as we know, that we can calculate by total population upon
total income divided by
Total population. So
total population,
the
total number of
average
citizens.
is 10,000
So
for both the countries.
both the countries are earning an average income of 10,000 rupees. So the per capita income is nothing but this average income, the total income earned by the people divided by the total population. Okay. So if 5 citizens in the table is considered as country, in India how many population? There are about 135 crore population. There are roughly about 25 or 27 crore households are there. So the total income of the 27 crore households and the total income earned by this 27 crore population. So the income of all the households divided by the total number of households, you get the average income. Okay, not households, number of persons actually. So the total income divided by the total population, you get the per capita income. Okay. So how this per capita income is to understand the development. Okay. So I already told you that income is the indicator of development. Okay. And when it comes to income and how do you classify countries? We have many countries, more than 200 countries are there in the world, and there are different ways of classifying countries. Who classify? One of the dominant or main classification is done by the World Bank. World Bank, you know that World Bank is an international organization. It lends money to many countries. It has a subscription. So they promote development. They promote all the developmental economic policies. So the World Bank is coming out with one statistics called World Development Indicator. In that they classify countries into 3. What are they? Those countries in which the per capita income is 12,056. They are considered as developed countries. The second indicator is those countries which are earning income between $12,056 and $955. They are considered as middle income countries. And those countries which are earning less than $955, they are called low income country. Now you know the countries are classified on the basis of the per capita income earned in that country. Okay. So if you look at India's per capita income according to this classification in 2017 in terms of dollars, general dollars, it is 1,820. Now you tell me, is India developed country or middle income country or low income country?
India is a middle income country.
Very good. So India is coming under the category 2. Okay. So this is how the income. Let me tell you, this is how the countries are classified on the basis of the per capita income. Now let me tell you that this number that you are getting, the calculation that you have made, let me ask you one simple question. Suppose you are given a choice, okay, to live in any of these 2 countries. Okay, which country you would like to live in?
In the 5th one, because it's more.
No, this country B or country A?
In country B.
You would like to live in country B.
Yeah.
Okay. Suppose you are given a lottery system. You are not having the choice. Lottery is given. And which country you would like to live in? If it is a lottery system, which country you would like to live in?
Maybe B.
Why?
Because it is having more.
So no, that is not the case actually. If you look at country B, in country B, 4 persons are earning 500 rupees only. Only 1 person is earning 48,000. Whereas here, country A, all the 5 people are earning around 9,000 to 10,000. Okay, if this is the case, which country, if there is a lottery system, which country you will choose? Obviously, you will choose country A.
Okay.
Why? Because in country A, all the people are earning better incomes. Whereas here, country B, only 1 person is earning high income. So there is no surety that you will be getting this income. You will also land up earning 500 rupees. So would you like to live in country B?
No, country A, obviously.
So why? Because here all the people are earning better incomes. Okay. Whereas here only 1 person is earning better income. And both total and averages may not tell you the real development. Okay. So we have to see how people earn, means it is the income. If the people are earning, majority of the people are earning higher incomes, then that would be considered as a developed country. If you look at, I'll give you this one diagram here. This kind of bar diagram is called clustered bar diagram. Okay, so clustered bar. I'm sure in mathematics, did you study bar diagram? How to draw a bar diagram?
Yeah.
So I'm giving you in the y-axis the total income in terms of $1 billion. In the x-axis, I'm giving you the name of the countries. Okay, tell me which country is having highest GDP?
China,
China. So what is the income?
$21,148 billion.
Who is the second highest GDP, second highest income?
USA with $17,711 billion.
Very good. So if you look at the GDP total income as a whole, you will find India, like India is which rank you get here. Among these 7 countries, India is in the 3rd rank.
Third.
Okay, it is having the 3rd highest GDP level. 4th country, which country? 4th country, it's Japan. With how much is the GDP?
$4,933 billion.
Okay, so if you look at the total income as such, India is 3rd. Okay, let me give you another chart. This clustered bar chart is giving you the per capita income, the average income of countries. But here, who is having the highest income?
USA.
USA. What was his what is the per capita income of USA?
$54,471.
So where is India stands? So if you
Maybe the last.
So among all these 7-8 countries cited here, India is among the last. Whereas in case of if you look at the GDP, total GDP, India is in the 3rd position. Okay. So if you look at the per capita, India is the 8th position today. Okay. So this tells you that the total income alone is not sufficient to understand the development. You also have to see the per capita income. Okay. Among the per capita income, where is China? China is now in the which position? Almost like a 6th position. Okay. And where is USA? It has gone to the top position actually. Okay. And if you look at what is the difference between the India's per capita income, USA per capita income, it is almost 10 times. 6,500, here it is 54,000. Okay. And if you look at the Japan's per capita income also, it is almost like a 6 to 7 times actually. So the per capita income will tell you a better picture about development. Okay. And if you draw this in a world map, I'm sure you must have drawn, Can you just show me how you have drawn this? Very good. If you look at the way, this is the graph actually, if you look at this graph and this world map, you will see the countries, 7 countries which are there in the clustered bar graph. So the income, they are marked, and the incomes are also the name of the countries and the incomes that they are getting. Both this another graph also, Rahul has colored it. Both the graphs gives you the picture on the which countries are developed, what was their income. I am giving you the world political map. Okay. So this you can also do it in the class or in the house when you are free with your parents. Discuss with your parents. In the graph, like in the slide, I am also giving you the world map and the names of the countries. Use this world map and the understand where the countries are located, and then use the political outline map, and then color these countries, color these 8 countries, okay, in 2 world maps. Okay. If you look at the, what do you observe this actually? If you look at these countries, all these developed countries, particularly high income countries, they are all having a long coastal area.
Yeah.
Okay. They are all having long coastal area. Some of the economists, those who are studying, those who are specialized in economics, in higher education, those who are teaching in universities, they are called economists. So the economists are saying that many developed countries, they are developed because they are having a long coastal area. What is the use of coastal area? The coastal area will help you to trade goods, okay, much better rather than in the landlocked area. If you look at the world map, you can see the, is there any African country here colored? No.
No.
And most of the Asia also is not coming here.
No.
Okay. Why? Because these landlocked countries are not able to trade better. They are not able to trade better because there are a lot of barriers. One from one country to another country moving in the land areas is very difficult actually. Okay, so in order to understand development, it is also necessary not only the total income, it is also necessary to understand the geography, the geographical location of the countries. So thank you very much for viewing this first session on development, and we will discuss more on how this development is measured, whether the income is sufficient, and what are the other indicators that we wanted to measure the development. And we are going to see in the next session. Thank you very much. Welcome all the students of class 10, parents, teachers, and other viewers. You are now in the social studies class, and we also have a student with us in the studio. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Rahul. I'm from New Delhi Madhu International School in class 10th.
You are aware that social science constitute many subjects: economics, history, geography, political science, sociology, business studies, and many others. Among all the subjects, economics is an important subject. This subject is introduced in class 6 in some simple rudimentary form. In classes 9th and 10th, some of the important concepts that we come across in our daily lives are introduced. In the previous class, we familiarized you with the concept of development. Some important points that emerge from the previous session are that every person, village, a country has some developmental goals. The idea of development may not be same for everyone. It may vary from person to person. Sometimes the concept of development also conflicting. We also explained how it become a conflict actually. Thirdly, people earn some incomes. So the income earned by people, if you all pool together in a particular locality or a country, that constitute income of the whole country. We also talked about this total income of the country can be considered as one of the indicators of development. And the countries, if you pull together all the incomes earned by the people in a country, that constitutes total income of that country. Usually, the World Bank, an international organization, collects the data about total income of countries, many countries, and provide in its publication called World Development Indicators. These indicators contain many indicators, among which we are going to discuss about total income of a country. You also have seen that in our slide many aspects related to development, and we also looked at how World Bank classifies countries into 3. All those countries whose per capita income crosses above $12,056, they are considered as developed countries, and those who are between $12,056 and $955, they are considered as middle income countries, and those countries which are earning income below $955, they are considered as low income countries. We also know that India belongs to which category?
Middle income.
Middle income, very good. So these are some of the issues. We also looked at the world map, how the world map you also draw.
Yes.
I pointed out what are the, if you look at the slide, and you looked at, like, you also colored some important countries and their GDP per capita. Okay. Now, we also have to see how income can be considered as indicator of development. Do you think that we also looked at what is the difference between the total income and the average income? How average income is calculated and how total income is calculated. You also showed us yesterday that what is the total income of 5 imaginary, like a country contains 5 imaginary people. So do you think that the total or average income alone is sufficient to measure the development of a country?
No, I don't think so that total or average income is sufficient to measure the development of a country, because the total or average income cannot tell how the people in a country are surviving.
Yeah.
It does not show whether the healthcare or the medical facilities of a country are good, and at times both the countries can have the average income and the total income as the same, but it does not tell about the particular income of a person.
So it does not tell you about the distribution of income, how the income is distributed across different citizens.
Yes.
So there are some countries in which the total income is relatively very high, or even the average income is also very high, but that does not tell you how the income is distributed across many families, many individuals. So the income alone may not be our total income or average income. In technical terms, per capita income alone is not sufficient to measure the development of a country. In this session, we are going to see this total income in a critical sense, and why we have to go beyond total income as a development indicator. Okay, so look at this table. This table contains the income and other development indicators of different states.
Yes.
So if you look at the table, this table contains six states: Haryana, Kerala, Bihar, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Odisha. If you look at the second column, it contains the data on infant mortality ratio. This means how many children are able to survive out of 1,000 children born. If you look at the infant mortality ratio in say Haryana, it is 30.
Yes.
The national average is 33. The third column gives you the per capita income of different states. Okay. The technical term for this is that states per capita state domestic product. So don't worry, at this stage you will come to know the details, technical details of this concept in a higher class. Right now you consider as this is an average income of a state, every state. And the third concept is the net attendance ratio. What is this net attendance ratio? We know that in India many children are going to school, attending schools, enrolling themselves in the school, but doesn't mean that they are all studying there, they are all attending there. Okay. Many times children get enrolled but they don't go to school, they don't attend the school. Unless children are attending the school, it may not result in learning actually. Yes. So this is the important concept, net attendance ratio. How many children are attending? Particularly this table is given here is about for class 10, 9th and 10th students. So how many students attending the classroom on a regular basis in a whole year? So if you look at the national level data shows that out of 100 children who are studying in class 9th and 10th, only 58 are attending regularly. Yes. The rest, how many rest of them? 42. 42. So the 42 students are not attending the classes regularly. If you look at the income, so you will find that like the highest per capita income is from Haryana.
Yes.
Okay. So Haryana is having highest income, almost like if you look at 1,80,000 rupees. So which is the second highest income?
Kerala.
Kerala. Okay. But if you look at the Kerala's infant mortality ratio, how much is the Kerala's infant mortality ratio?
10.
It's 10. Whereas the income level is, it is lesser than Haryana, yes. But the infant mortality ratio, how many children survive, it is relatively high in Haryana. Like how many, it is very, very high in, that means out of 1,000 children, only 10 children are dying before they cross the first birthday. Okay. In Haryana, out of 1,000 children born, about 30 are dying. So it is very high.
Yes.
So this indicator shows that the income may be very high in Haryana, yes. But they are not ensuring the health facilities. So if you look at the other states also, if you look at the attendance ratio, the Kerala, the income may be relatively less, whereas the 77 children are attending schools regularly compared to say Haryana, where only 63 students are attending. The schooling is better in Kerala, and the education health facility is also better in Kerala, but income may be low. Okay, but there are some states where all of the three indicators are very poor. Let us take Bihar. If you look at the Bihar's per capita income it's almost 34,400 rupees. This means 1/6 of the income of Haryana.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you look at all India per capita income, why I am telling you this, because you are in class 10. Okay, you need to understand what is meant by a data, how to analyze data, how to look the data very carefully, interpret data. This is the interpretation skill you are expected to require, and this will be required for your higher studies also. When you go to higher studies also, how to look at the data, how to interpret the data. That is why I am explaining to you. So, if you look at the Tamil Nadu is also lesser per capita income, and if you look at the infant mortality rate, it is better, it is almost second to Kerala. Okay. So out of 1,000 children born in Tamil Nadu, only 16 children die before they cross the first birthday. Okay. Similarly, if you look at the attendance ratio also, it is better than Haryana, 67. It is not better than Kerala, but it is better than Haryana. If you look at the Gujarat is also having low per capita income, but in terms of health indicator, Gujarat is equivalent to Haryana. It is not doing better because 30 children die actually before they cross age 1 actually. And Odisha, the situation is relatively slightly better than, say, in terms of income, it is better than Bihar because it is having the per capita income of 74,200. Whereas if you look at the infant mortality ratio, highest it is far higher than national average also. The national average is 23, infant mortality rate of national average. This data is meant for the year 2017-18, just 2 years before. So if you look at the attendance ratio, it is also more or less equivalent to Tamil Nadu. Okay, but it is better than the national level actually. So if you look at income alone, you may not be able to understand, like you may not be able to get the real picture of the development. Yes. So you also have to look at the health, you also have to look at the schooling facilities. Okay. So why this is happening? What could be one of the reasons? Can you say that why it could be the reasons? Why some states are if you like ask me why this is happening, it's because some states provide a better health facilities. In Kerala also, during the corona period in the last 3-4 months, you found that the Kerala is one of the states where the number of deaths, number of people affected is relatively far below than many other states. Okay. Kerala is also performing much better than other states in terms of health and education facilities. There is a universal literacy level in Kerala. That is one of the reasons why the development indicators are showing better in Kerala. Yeah. And if you look at the public distribution system, in many states the public distribution system does not work well actually, where the public distribution system is like is ensuring food security for the people of India. Yes. Okay. So wherever the public distribution functions well, you find the level of malnutrition is relatively less. Yes. Okay. So it is important that the schools are functioning in the state. It is important that the health facilities are available in the state. If they are available, the development indicators also will be better in those states. So if you look at the development, if you look at the indicators of development, income alone is not sufficient. You also require other facilities. You also require a better public distribution system. You also require other infrastructure facilities also. Okay. Let me move on to the other issues actually. If you look at the, this is the development indicator for the state level. You may be interested in how at the national level or international level, how countries are compared. Is it possible? We have already seen the per capita income of the countries, major countries. Okay. And countries also be like requiring other development indicators. So the one major source for that comparing countries in terms of other development indicators other than income is that Human Development Report. This Human Development Report is published by the United Nations Development Program, which is a wing of the United Nations. They come out with the report every year measuring variety of development indicators, okay, ranging from income, health, education, democracy, participation of people in various economic activities and so on. They come out with the report, and what I give you is it's a table and the data for the Asian states. Okay. So can you show me what are the countries you have drawn a map? You have must have, yeah, it's here. So these are the Asian countries. Now you have colored this map.
Yes.
Okay. So you can see these Asian countries and the data. If you look at the data in the slide, you can see the comparison of how many countries. 6 countries. Okay. In 6 countries, we are comparing the indicators of development. 3 indicators we are comparing.
Yes.
What is the first indicator? First
capita
indicator is
income.
per capita income. Very good. The second indicator,
Life expectancy.
life expectancy. Life expectancy means how many years people are able to live. Okay. That means if there is a data on like Sri Lanka, in Sri Lanka, on an average, people are living for 76 years, 75.5 years. Whereas in India, people are able to live for 68.8 years. Okay, it is lower than Sri Lanka. If you look at Nepal, 70.6 years. So almost 71 years people are able to live longer actually. So people are living longer in many countries. And if you look at the per capita income here, look at the per capita income of India. India is 6,353. Okay. And if you look at the Myanmar, it is 567. If you look at Nepal, see, look at the Nepal figures. The Nepal figure is that per capita income is very low, 2,471 per PPP dollars. Okay. Don't worry about this PPP dollars. It's basically you take it as a per capita income of the state or the country actually. So it is having the lowest per capita income. But if you look at the life expectancy, what is the life expectancy? Almost 71. It is higher than say India. It is higher than say it is Pakistan. It is higher than the Myanmar actually. If you look at another country in South Asia, the Bangladesh. Bangladesh is having a per capita income only $3,677, whereas Bangladesh people are living for 73 years, much more than 5 years, almost 5 years more than India's figures actually. Okay. So the India may be having higher income than Nepal, Bangladesh, but it is not able to ensure the people's life. People are not able to live longer compared to those countries actually. If you look at the mean years of schooling means how many years people have gone to school, particularly the adults, those who are aged 25 and above. Okay. So this is an estimate, these are all estimated by the United Nations Development Program by using many mathematical calculations. So if you look at the mean years of schooling, you will find the highest mean years of schooling is in Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, almost 11 years average. That means every adult has studied up to 11 years. Okay. Whereas the lowest figure you get it where? In Nepal. In Nepal only it is 4.9 years, 5 years only. That means the literacy level is very low in Nepal. Okay. It's relatively high in Sri Lanka and it's slightly better in India. Okay. If you look at the human development rank of many countries, India's rank is 130. Okay. If you look at last 10 years time, India's rank has increased from 135 to 130. This is based on the estimation for some 200 countries. Out of 200 countries, India's ranking is 130 actually. But what is the Sri Lanka's rank? It is 76. It's far better, almost double. That is also because people are able to live longer. So education index is very much better in Sri Lanka. The health indicator also, like they are able to live for almost 76 years. The country is giving health and education infrastructure much better than other South Asian like countries actually. Okay. So if you want to see the comparison of countries also, like you can look at the Human Development Report. Then this you have already done that coloring activity, and as a student you can also do a coloring activity. Why this activity that we are suggesting you, that whenever you sit in the class, you discuss with your parents and just collect the or buy some maps of Asia map and do this coloring. If you look at in the slide, you can see the Asia outline map. So take at the Asia political outline map and then you color these nations actually. So if you do color the nations, and you will be observing many countries. Okay. Then you can locate those countries. So you will also develop the knowledge of countries' location if you are doing this coloring activity. That's the you also have realized by coloring this world map and Asia map.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you tell me, like, do you have any doubts in this session or in the previous session?
Yes, sir. I have a doubt. Yesterday you mentioned about one term, gross domestic product. What does that mean?
See, the gross domestic product, which we are going to study in the next chapter, it's basically the total value of goods and services produced in a country by its citizens, okay, or any other citizens also. But in terms of production, it is the goods and services produced in a country by during the particular year, say generally into, if you look at the financial year is calculated from April to March. Okay. So, the GDP is also shown as the income of a country. Okay. So, next, any other question you have?
One more doubt. You mentioned that we should be careful while making a judgment on total income or average income. Why so?
See, you have already seen that if you look at the example of the chart that we have seen, you have calculated the total income. You see, you have calculated the total income of the country, imaginary country A. So, you also calculated total income as 50,000. Okay. If you look at the country B, you also calculated the total income. This is also 50,000. This country's total income is also 50,000. This country's income is also 50,000. But if you look at the, so both are same by, if you look at casually. Okay. But if you look at the average also, see the average also, how much was the average? 10,000 rupees. So, both the countries are having average of 10,000 also. But if you look at the income of individual people, for example, here all the 5 citizens are earning around 9,000 to 10,000 rupees. Yes. Whereas here 4 people are earning 500 rupees only, but only one person is having 48,000 rupees. Okay. See, this 48,000, the person who is earning 48,000 can have better facilities, all the like infrastructure. Okay. But the person who is earning 500 rupees, how he will survive actually? Yes. So, the total income and the average income, they are also same in both the countries, but who will be better? People living in country A or country B? Country A. Country A. Why? Why? Because all the people are earning relatively similar amount of average income, higher average income. But here one person is earning highest income, the rest of the citizens are earning very lowest income actually. That is why the total averages do not tell you the real picture actually. Okay. Now, we are coming to the end of this session. We will look at one calculation of body mass index. Okay. So, the body mass index is as a health indicator. If you calculate the indicator, like if you look at the people's level of nutrition, yes, it's you can come to know how the health situation is performing in a country. For example, body mass index is used as an important health indicator. How it is calculated? Weight in kilograms divided by height in terms of meters. Okay. We will learn more about in the next session also, but I will tell you briefly that when you get time, please calculate the body mass index of your family members. Okay. In the next session, briefly we will talk about it actually. Okay. So, today we looked at in this session why income alone is not sufficient. We also looked at some of the indicators of development in terms of education, health of many states, and also we looked at some of the important countries in South Asia, and we come to know that income indicator alone is not showing the real development. There are some states or some countries which are having better life expectancy, better health indicator, but they may not be having higher income actually. And there are some countries, some states where the literacy level or children attending schools are better, but they may not be having a higher income. Okay. They may be having a low income. So, in order to understand development, apart from income, you also have to look at health, education, other infrastructure. Okay. We also looked at the body mass index. We asked the Rahul to calculate the body mass index of his family, and maybe he will bring the results next session. And we will discuss about the body mass index, but we also have to ask this question that is the development path that we are taking up, is it sustainable? So, the question of sustainable development also is becoming a very important issue. So, we will discuss about the sustainability of development and the body mass index in the next session, and we thank you, Rahul, for participating in this studio. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome all the students of class 10, parents, teachers and other viewers. You are now in the social science class. We have a student with us in the studio. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Rahul. I'm in class 10th, Madhu International School in New Delhi.
Thank you. So, you are aware that social science constitute many subjects: history, geography, economics, political science, sociology, business studies, and many others. Among other subjects, economics is an important subject. It is introduced in class 6 in some simple rudimentary forms. All the important topics which we have come across in our daily life and in the media are introduced in class 10, class 9 and 10 onwards. In the previous session, we familiarized you about development. What are the indicators of development? We looked at how income can be used as an important indicator of development. We also looked at what are the other indicators of development. We saw that some important points that emerge in the previous session are that every person, community, village or a country has goals, some developmental aspirations. Income earned by people in a country is used as an indicator of development. Besides income, there are other development indicators also. For example, life expectancy, infant mortality ratio, net attendance ratio. We looked at the data of these development indicators of some important states in India and also some of the countries, our neighborhood countries. You also notice that some states have a better income indicator. They have a higher per capita income, but they are not performing, they are not providing health and education facilities in a better manner. We also looked at, when we compared the countries in South Asia, that many countries like Bangladesh, Nepal, they are having a low income, but they are able to ensure higher life expectancy. We also looked at how Sri Lanka is having a higher human development index when compared with all other countries in South Asia. And we also looked at why this is happening. It is also because the facilities available in the states, how the government is ensuring public distribution system in some states, establish hospitals and other health and education facilities, because of which the health indicators, education indicators are showing better results actually. They may be not earning a higher income, but in terms of other indicators we looked at how they are performing. We also saw the human development report about which I have already discussed. You know that during the period of March to April, May, June 2020, that due to corona, all the activities, important economic activities all over the world were shut down. Many countries have locked down their activities, because of which the indicators of pollution has improved. For example, Delhi was looking like London, we also come to know in the newspaper. Okay. So, because the factories were shut down in Delhi actually. So, we also in this session we are going to see whether this development is sustainable, the development based on the high cost, the polluting industries, is this development is sustainable, and we are going to take up 2 examples. Okay. What are those 2 examples? We are going to take the discussion of groundwater resources, how the groundwater used in India. We also looked at we are going to look at it, other important indicator, crude oil. Before that, I asked you to calculate the body mass index. Yes. Viewers, body mass index is an important health indicator. It tells you about a person, whether he is a malnutritioned person or he is having a normal level of nutrition, or is he a obese person. Obesity is also one of the malnutrition. It is not that obesity means it is better. People who are having obese also malnutrition, that means they are not having a proper diet. Okay. People who are having malnutrition, maybe like they may not be children, many people, if children are malnutrition means they are not having proper food actually. Okay. So, the body mass index can be calculated by 2 data, 2 indicator, 2 statistics we require. We wanted the height of the student or height of any person, in meters, and the weight in kilograms. So, you have to collect these data, these 2 details, so that you can calculate body mass index. Okay. If you look at the PowerPoint slides, you will come to know that those persons, particularly adults, whose body mass index ranges between 18.5 to 25, they are considered as normal. Yes. Okay. So, those adolescents, those who are aged like you 14 and 18, if your body mass index is lying between 15.5 to 29, and then you are normal. Okay. And I also asked you to collect the details of the height and weight of your family members. Can you share the details?
Yes, sir. For my brother, the BMI is 20.83. For my mother, the BMI is 34.2. For father, it is 29.38. And for me, it is 27.54.
Okay, very good. Thank you for collecting these details and calculating the BMI. Now you tell me, who are the are there any obese person in your
Yes,
family?
My mother and my father,
How can you say that actually?
because it's more than 29.
So their BMI is going beyond 25.
Yes.
So that is why they are called obese people actually. Okay, their nutrition level or the nutrition level is not proper actually. Okay, students, when you are now in the house, you can also calculate the way Rahul has calculated the details of body mass index. You just collect the details of every family person and their height and their weight. Okay, and then you calculate by the formula weight in kilograms divided by height in meters into height in meters. Okay, this is given in the slide. You can get the details. And the body mass index is an important health indicator. If you go to please visit a nearby Anganwadi or Balwadi, where many children are given nutritious food actually. You talk to the teacher or the organizer working in Anganwadi and collect the details about this body mass index of because she collects not only the body mass index of the children and also other people in your locality. So you talk with her and you will get surprising details about this body mass index. Let me go to the issue of sustainable development. See, the sustainable development means we have to we have to engage in the developmental activities which are sustainable. I already told you that we are going to take 2 examples. Okay, what are those examples? Let me take the example of groundwater. What is groundwater? All the water that we get from the ground, the earth. Okay, what are the ways we get groundwater? By the bore wells,
Yes,
or by using pump sets. Okay, we get the groundwater. See, this groundwater is getting recharged by the rains. Okay, so if you look at the total amount of groundwater that we get in the whole world, and 25% of rainwater only is used, because the rest of the water is going to the oceans. Okay, and if you look at the consumption of the groundwater in India, India is the largest consumer of groundwater. In fact, entire the groundwater available to the earth or the universe, the world, okay, we consume 25%, one fourth of the total groundwater that we receive from the rains, which are utilizable, we consume ourselves. Such a high level of consumption of groundwater that we are making. So it is high time that we have to use the groundwater in a very economical fashion, actually, economical manner. And also, if you look at the groundwater, how it is used, you may be thinking that we are all drinking water, water in our households. We may be using water in factories. We may be using water in other places actually. But the statistics show that 70% of the groundwater that we are getting in India are used mainly for agriculture and irrigation purposes only. Only the rest 30% is used by the households, factories and others. Okay, so it is a high time that we use groundwater in an economic manner. Can you share some of the details how the groundwater can be used economically? Can you give examples which you must have read earlier or listened to somewhere in the media?
Groundwater can be used for irrigation, I guess.
Yes.
And it can also be used in household activity.
Okay. So the groundwater can be used for various purposes. Irrigation is the major purpose in agriculture. We are using it actually. So if you look at the why suddenly groundwater is taking 70% of the total groundwater in India, it is because the number of pump sets in India has increased from 1 crore to 3 crore during the last 60 years. The number of pump sets that are set up in rural areas for irrigation purposes has increased from 1 crore to 3 crore. The second reason is that the number of the amount of acre of lands available for irrigation purposes. Traditionally 50 years before, majority of the lands are used to, were getting cultivated by the rain. That is why the we used to call it India's India is mainly depending on the rain-fed agriculture. India's agriculture is called rain-fed agriculture. But today, more than 55% of the lands available for agriculture is irrigated actually. So, if you look at in terms of total, almost like 10 times. For example, 50 years before in 1950s, if only 20 acres were irrigated, today it is 200 acres. So, the amount of land irrigated is also increased. Because of this, the groundwater is also getting depleted actually. But it is high time that we use many measures, the sustainable use of groundwater. For example, sprinkler cultivation can be one method by which the water can be conserved actually. And sure, students, you may be discussing with you can discuss with your parents and teachers and community members that how groundwater can be used economically in such a manner that we are able to get groundwater on a regular basis, so that we are sustaining our developmental activities. The second example is that crude oil. The crude oil that we get is, if you look at the statistics, the latest statistics available from various sources, we have crude oil which can be sufficient only for the next 50 years. And if you look at, compare the countries, for example, in America, the amount of crude oil is available in that country, it is sufficient only for 10 years. So, after 10 years, they have to look for some other sources of groundwater, like the crude oil actually. So, the amount of crude oil today you are getting is only 1,697,000 million barrels. Okay, so the crude oil is also like getting depleted day by day. Okay, that means the crude oil can be used for like to extract petrol, diesel, and the fuel for the flights. Okay, all the transportation vehicles. For all purposes, we are using the crude oil actually. So we have to use crude oil in such a manner that our next generation also can save crude oil for their own consumption. Otherwise, will not be the developmental activity that we are doing is not sustainable. That is why there is one popular quote. I can read out to you this popular quote. We have not inherited the world from our forefathers. We have borrowed it from our children. So that means we have to save all these natural resources. Okay, and if you look at Mahatma Gandhi quote, I'm sure that you will be interested in Gandhi's quote. Please read the quote by Mahatma Gandhi.
Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's need, but not every man's greed. What we are doing to the forest of the world is but a mirror reflection of what we are doing to ourselves and to one another.
Thank you, Rahul, for reading this important quote of Mahatma Gandhi. And if I look at all the important key points of this topic, development, we have looked at what is development, and I'm just reading out important key points. Every individual has goals, aspirations, and developmental goals. They may not be same for all.
Yes.
If you look at every country or states or regions within the country has also developmental goals. Point 3, income is an important indicator of development. Per capita income is the major indicator or a state or nation's development. This is measured by the total income divided by the total population. Income alone cannot help us, it will not help us to understand people's development. We also require other indicators related to the health, food security, education, democracy. It is important to know how the fruits of development is distributed or shared by the people. We also estimated what is the total income and what is the average income. Yes. Why the totals and averages may not tell you the real picture actually.
And sir, I had a doubt.
Yeah.
How can democracy be an indicator?
It is important to know how the fruits of development is distributed or shared by the people. Okay. We also looked at why this development is not sustainable, because the resources available with the people are limited. The crude oil or the groundwater, these are the natural resources which you may not get regularly all the time. So they may get exhaust very quickly. So it is necessary that we use economically, we conserve them so that it can be sustained for the next generation also. If you look at the major learning outcomes of this particular unit, you should be able to define per capita income, sustainable development, and human development index. And you also should be able to compare the development indicators across states or across countries. So you should be able to interpret the way I interpreted today in session or in the previous session, all the data. And you also have to explain why human development is important, why other indicators are development, other than income is development, so is important actually.
Yeah.
If you look at the viewers, I am having some questions for you. And please take out your pen and paper and see, you can just tick mark true or false. I am going to read some 8 statements. And if you are able to answer correctly, and then it is sure that I am able to explain to you all the concepts very well. The first statement, total income is sufficient to understand development of a country or state. True or false? You can tick 1. Per capita income is estimated by dividing the total income by the total population. True or false? 3. Life expectancy refers to number of years people are able to live in a region or country. 4. According to World Bank, Russia is a developed country. 5. Most people in India follow sustainable development practices. 6. According to Human Development Index, India is ranked as one of the top 50 countries. 7th question. When compared with other countries, India is required to economically use its groundwater. True or false? 8. People aspire to achieve similar developmental goals as individuals or as groups. If you are able to answer the questions correctly, I am sure that you are in a position to understand, like you are in a position to have a better understanding about development. Viewers have read you the questions, some of the 8 questions. Let me ask Rahul these questions and let us check up, let us verify whether he is able to answer correctly. Rahul, are you ready?
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
Question number 1.
Yeah.
Total income is sufficient to understand the development of a country or state. True or false?
False.
Correct. Because the income is alone not sufficient. We need other indicators also to understand the development. Second question. Per capita income is estimated by dividing the total income by the total population. True or false?
Sir, true.
Correct. So if you get the total income of all the people and divided by the number of people living in the locality or a country or a state or a village, you will get the average income, per capita income. Third question. Life expectancy refers to number of years people are able to live in a region or country. True or false?
True.
Correct. So I told you that the life expectancy means how many years people are able to live. In India it was 68.8, in Sri Lanka it was 75.5. Correct answer. Fourth question. According to World Bank, Russia is a developed country.
True.
Correct. Because I already told you that those countries which are having per capita income of $12,056 and above, they are considered as developed countries. So, in that case, Russia's developed income, Russia's per capita income is about beyond $12,056. That is why it is a developed country. Correct answer. Fifth question. Most people in India follow sustainable development practices. True or false?
False.
Yeah, so he may be false, but it is possible that yes, most people in India follow, they do not follow the sustainable development practices. That could be a very subjective answer. I am leaving it to the viewers to what extent this may be true. Sixth question. According to Human Development Index, India is ranked as one of the top 50 countries.
False.
True or false?
False.
False? Correct. Why? Because India's rank as on 2018 or 19 is 130. So 50 means it is a wrong answer. Yeah. Seventh question. When compared with other countries, India is required to economically use its groundwater. True or false?
True.
Correct. We already told you that the India's groundwater usage is almost 24%. World's 1/4 of the groundwater we ourselves, a small country, we ourselves consume. So it is necessary that we have to economize the use of groundwater, because it is not you cannot recycle, you cannot get on a regular basis. Question number 8. People aspire to achieve similar developmental goals as individuals or as groups. True or false?
True.
Not correct. You remember that in the first session of this chapter, we discussed that people have different goals. For example, people living in the rural area may be having different goals, and people in urban area may be having different goals. They may not be same for all. So this question is, the answer to this question is not correct. But thank you very much. You have answered all the 7 questions out of 8. Thank you for watching this session on development, which is an important concept which we see in our daily life. I am sure that you will be learning much more about the concept of development and the indicators of development in higher classes. I also thank Rahul for coming to the studio and participating in this session. Thank you very much, Rahul.